This video explains the concept of people wanting to be half of a good person and how to stop that from happening to yourself. So one thing I've noticed in my life from hundreds of people actually, everybody from my parents to family members to neighbors, just in general, and people don't realize they're actually doing this. They're doing a bad deed and a good deed, making themselves only a half of a good person, and they want the full credit for doing the good deed, but they don't want to hear about the bad part. And they think that they're justified in doing this. And I'll give some examples, and you can think about maybe some examples of your own. That's what I do. That's how you fix yourself from doing this, is you try to think, I am all of a good person. That's it. I am following in a straight line. That's it. There is no diversion for greed. There's no diversion for gain. There's no diversion for pain and suffering. None of that. You stay on the straight line even if it hurts, even if it hurts your wallet. And that's all you need to really do is be a good person. 100%, not half of a good person. And I'll explain an example of this, and I'm sure that you've probably done this before, and it's very hard to make sure you don't. But once when you understand the logic in this and you keep it in your brain, it becomes automatic when you come to these situations. Okay, so I'll give an example. About 3 years ago, I found some keys downstairs. There was some stuff on the keychain I liked. I picked up the keys. I knocked on a couple doors and saw if anybody had them. Nobody answered. Nobody got the keys. So I went upstairs, got a nail. I went back downstairs, put the nail in a good place where it wouldn't damage. There was already a nail hole, so I just lined up the nail in the nail hole that was already there. Didn't even need a hammer. Good thing I forgot to bring down the hammer. But anyways, at this point, I hang the keys on the nail. I give a phone number as well, in case they're still there. I do that with a cat a lot. When I find a lost cat, I give them a phone number to call. I guess I really didn't need the phone number, but I put one down anyways. And the person got the keys. They called me and said, we got the keys, thank you, boom. And I didn't take anything off the keychain, I just hung them up. I decided to be 100% of a good person. If I left them there, that's okay, right? I'm still a good person. If I ended up not going door to door, I'm still a good person. But I'm 100% of a good person. When there's a situation where I can do good, I do good. And I'll give you an example of somebody who decided to be half of a good person. So about 2 months ago, my keys fell off my bag. I have this gold and silver 2-inch knife. It's about the size of your pinky. That's it. It's super small. But it's very shiny, looks like jewelry. Looks like it would be expensive, but it was $7. But it looks like it could be a $20 knife. So I go upstairs, find out, oh, my keys are no longer on my bag. Oh, no, that's not good. So I go looking for them outside. I find them next to the step. I pick them up, I bring them inside. But the knife was no longer on the keychain. Now that was secured heavily. It's not like it falls off this special keychain. This it's wicked hard to get them loose. It's not easy to separate. So that means that somebody came out, they saw the keys. Okay. They left the keys on the ground. Still a good person. I mean, they could have thrown them away. Whatever. They still left them there. I guess that's kind of not the worst decision. They could have done better. But then on top of leaving the keys for me to find later, they took the knife and took something that wasn't theirs and then didn't tell anybody that there was keys outside. So that person really didn't do anything horribly wrong, but they also didn't do anything really good. So they're half of a good person, half of a bad person. You lose something, it's okay to take it off the ground. But if you think somebody's looking for it, that's not a good thing to do. And a lot of people make these decisions. Either they'll leave stuff there or take the knife and leave the keys, or there's so much of these decisions out there that people make where they decide, okay, I'm going to do a good deed and return the keys, but I'm going to keep this. Or when people find a wallet on the ground and they open it, take the money out, and then return the wallet. Well, it's great that you return the wallet to the person. He probably needs his cards and ID. But you probably should wait to see if the guy gives you any money. You shouldn't take money out of the wallet. I mean, you can do that. You found it. but then you're only being half of a good person. And when you have this conversation with these people in the moment, they get very defensive, very angry, and they act like nothing was, oh, no, 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 I'm perfect, I'm a great holy man. They act all justified. No, you can't. When I was a teenager, I would have taken the money and returned the wallet. In my 20s, I've decided, or I've learned through religion and just my own mental capacity, and in the years and years, I haven't failed yet on this. I've learned just to do everything in my power to do good, and people smile, they thank you. I mean, uh, I walk through life with people thanking me and telling me I'm kind hearted, and it's great. But it's not like I'm actually, my health is any better. It's not like I'm not having seizures. It's not like my life gets better from doing these good deeds, but I do them anyways. And that's what people need to realize. You need to invest 100% into your goodness, not just a little, not just a little goodness. When somebody does something wrong to you, is it okay to do something back? Like if somebody stole from you, is it okay then to go and steal from them? Like let's say somebody breaks in your house and steals your TV. Is it okay then to break into their house and dump everything in the dumpster? No, it's not. Because you're 100% of a good person. You're not half of a good person. You don't forgive him for stealing your TV and then dump all his stuff. No, that would be half of a good person. So what you got to do is you got to be 100% of the good person. Forgive the person for taking the TV. Ask them why they did it. Understand where they're coming from. And then if they don't get any better, then you got to keep away from them. And you can still give help from a long distance, keeping your property away from the individual. There's a lot of good you can do in life. I've had a lot of thieves that have stolen from me, broken into my house. It's been very difficult to deal with. But I have never decided that it's a good idea to then steal their belongings or throw them away or destroy them or break their window or break their car. Like I saw one woman, this person stole from her wallet, and she took this, I guess, was this a metal pole, and broke his windshield on the side front, just started banging the car up. And it was just wrong because, yeah, what he did was wrong, but now you're in the wrong, so now you're both bad people. You could have been a good person and you chose not to be. And people don't realize that. They think getting even is okay. It makes them a good person. It's okay to eye for an eye and get even. But here's a saying for you. An eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind. That's simple. If we play an eye for an eye, the whole world goes blind. And if we all worry about ourselves, then society breaks down, because a society is a connection. It's a web of people who work together to make life better for every single person in that web. But if people start not wanting to contribute, or if they become selfish, or if they start deciding that they're only going to be half good, then the system breaks down. And we have enough problems in Congress and with all this, what they call it, lobbying, with people paying money to persuade our politicians. It's hard enough to get anything done. But now we don't even want to work together. Most people over the age of 50 or so don't want to work together. They got that mindset of worry about myself, fuck you. This is mine, 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 mine. Everybody got that side, mine, mine, mine. No, actually, it's God's, God's, God's. It's not yours, not mine. You have possession of it right now, so it's yours. I have no right to take it. Absolutely not. But don't act like you have any entitlement. The money you get, the things you buy, are given to you by God, hard work, and circumstances. Some people get better circumstances than others. Some people at 5 years old get flung across the room and get their legs broken and then can't run a marathon. Maybe that person would have been rich, but you would never know because the circumstance changed. And evil does exist in this world, and evil can do a lot of harm. There's think of World War II and some of those scientific studies. Do you think God thought it was okay to castrate men who didn't want it, remove eyeballs, kill children, torture children? Do you think any of that is God? No. That's evil. That's the evil in man. We have the right to do what we want. We can be good people and accept God's blessings, or we can be half of a good person and be all senilely in a dream all the time, like pretend like you're a good person, not but not really be it. And then you can be a bad person and just own it, or you can be a bad person and not know it. But the best thing you can do is be good 100%, not half, not a quarter, You get a situation, you do the right thing. By God, every time. You see somebody get hit by a car you don't like, you don't drive past them, you call for help. You don't have to pick them up, you don't have to be their best friend, but you do the right thing in the moment. And I see that people do not want to do that. Everything from my family to friends to neighbors to just in general. And it happens every day. And people do not even pay attention to know what they're doing. And people do not like when other people tell them what they're doing. So it's not like I can really just strike and blame them. Only one person can judge. If they strike a conversation with me, I can lightly bring it up in conversation by giving them an example of something I did. That's one way you can be polite about it. You know, I've done a lot in my past. I can own it, give an example, and maybe the person will see, oh, wait a minute, I just did that. And that's a good way to wake people up too. You know, somebody taking a knife from Keys and leaving the keys or whatever. I can tell them, you know, one time my buddy, he lost his phone. I decided to take it, and his grandma died and he didn't even know. Or a truer story. I mean, I have to think on it or something. But, you know, I can give them an example of something I did and say, no, I felt so bad that I did that for so many years. Still to this day, I'm still asking God for forgiveness. And make us, you know, you say something like that, and you're putting blame on yourself, but the other person might wake up to what's going on. The only thing you got to be careful with about waking people up by admitting things you've done in the past is sometimes these psychiatrists will make up a fantasy in their head based on, because they don't have all the information. Like they would call that beating yourself up. I'm not beating myself up. I've forgiven myself for my transgressions, and so has God. But other people might be able to do good if I admit to the things I've done. If I stole a coin and I admit I stole a coin from my father, and I have a customer coming in who says that his child was stealing his coins and he's all upset about it, maybe he feels better knowing that I've been through it. I was on the other side. I can tell you why maybe your kid did it and what he, you know, maybe hug and talk to him. I don't know. But I can admit to what I did and what happened in my life to help other people understand what's going on in their life. But psychiatrists will call that beating yourself up, and somebody who is down on themselves and hate themselves. Oh, Zach hates himself because he's admitting to his digressions and the things he's done in the past. And that's the problem with psychiatrists. They don't ask you for your information. They get one little piece and then they build a fantasy around that. And instead of just having a conversation with the patient, asking him for more information, they like to go with these fantasies, especially if it matches medication. And that can end pretty badly and there are a lot of people that are hooked on this scam. There's a lot of these psychiatrists right now scamming our young 20-year-olds, and they don't have any clue what's going on. It took me years to figure out what was going on. And a lot of it, like for instance, I was getting heart palpitations. I was getting very sick from a 300 milligrams of Seroquel. Well, I went into the doctor and told him. The first time, he said, oh, okay. The second time I went in, he went up on it. He told me, oh, you got to wait longer and you got to, and I'll go up on it. I ended up having the worst heart. Oh my God, I was sweating and in so much pain. I vomited in the middle of the night. It was terrible. And I did that for months. I was so sick. I was waking up with terrible hangovers. I couldn't stay awake. My head was throbbing every morning. I had to wear sunglasses for like 5 hours in the mornings. Passed out on the bus, passed out on the couch. It was so hard to do anything. And I bring this up to the doctor and he tells me, you gotta wait. Every month, you gotta wait. I waited like 2 years while getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. Giving the doctor a lot too. Giving my mother a lot. And nobody came to my help. And this is something that people need to look for themselves, because I will not let a doctor do that to me again. If that starts happening, I will leave. I will find another doctor. That is inappropriate. If somebody's having some type of reaction to a medication like heart palpitations or pain and they complain about it, it's not a good idea to double the dose. And then if you double the dose and the pain gets wicked severe and then he starts vomiting and getting severe hangovers for hours in the mornings, you don't keep him on that high dose. This is stupid behavior. And I was on 8 to 12 medicines at that time. So this was just one of a whole cocktail of meds. And I mean, it's just bizarre. I would like to see what my medical records really look like. What justified that behavior from this doctor? And that was a doctor in Chelmsford, because I was living in a program and in Chelmsford. This doctor I was seeing, I don't know, from 16 to 19 or something like that. This is bad. This is the stuff that goes on. So you got doctors that are half of good people too. They're trying to help some people, and then they're trying to hurt others, and they don't give a fuck. They don't. They don't give a fuck if your heart gives out, if your liver dies in 20 years. They don't care what the damage they're doing to you is, as long as they're pushing those pills and they're making their money. And you got to be a good person 100% of the time. So when I find a doctor, I look for that 100% personality. And when I start